Rebounding out of this pandemic can be challenging for so many, and if you've ever gone to bed hungry or did not have enough money to buy groceries, you know that feeling stays with you.
ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska is going full circle on the food insecurity crisis growing in the Bay Area because of this pandemic. And he finds out that while Thanksgiving brought out the best of us to give back, more people is still needed.
I'm Michael Paluska. Many people may not realize that COVID is the crisis that we're dealing with in 2020, but food insecurity is also a huge problem, and we are in a food crisis. Feeding Tampa Bay is busy like this every single day, providing 2 million meals a week.
Where the lines to get free food were half a mile long. Half a mile.
From New York,
there are still quite a few cars out here.
To Texas,
hundreds at least still in line.
California,
110 tons of food distributed to Oahu residents.
And Hawaii, no state spared from the fallout of COVID-19. America is in a pandemic of hunger, food lines never ending. These news reports are from the start of the pandemic. Since then, the need has only gotten worse.
Feeding Tampa Bay held what they call a mega pantry.
Tampa Bay is no different. The high cost of our war against COVID-19, leaving some families broke, destitute, homeless, and unable to buy food. Pre-COVID, 600,000 people in our area were food insecure. Now, 1 million plus and growing.
COVID has exacerbated all that, made it far worse.
Thomas Mance is the president and CEO of Feeding Tampa Bay, leading the 40-year-old organization for the past 8 years. This year, his role in the community hasn't gone unnoticed. As people waiting for food saw Mance, they jumped at the opportunity for a photo with him.
One of the reasons why we like folks to come and see our warehouse is folks walk in here and go, I had no idea how big this was. It gives you some sense of how significant the work we do is.
So we met in the warehouse as an army of workers and volunteers sorted, stacked, and loaded up pallets of food, vans at the ready to take goods back to churches, schools, and nonprofits in their community.
Feeding Tampa Bay has been spending close to $250,000 a month, if not more, buying food, because the need is much greater than we've ever experienced. And so as a result, we have to do more. Post-COVID, we're delivering 2 million meals every week across our 10 counties. And it's important for folks to know that still is not enough. That still does not meet the entire need.
Feeding Tampa Bay is on pace to give out a record-breaking 85 million meals by the end of the year. Chances are, if you've received donated food, someone's caring hands in this warehouse touched it.
Because of the pandemic, we've really turned ourselves inside out.
Across town at Metropolitan Ministries, the race to prep food is never ending.
We said at the start it was going to be a marathon. We didn't realize how long of a marathon it was going to be. A marathon of need, of people in crisis. By the time we finish Christmas morning, it'll be about 50,000 food boxes that go out into the community.
Tim Marks, president and CEO of Metropolitan Ministries, says that number is double what they did for Thanksgiving and Christmas combined last year. And your small story is the bigger picture of all of society. I mean, the entire United States of America is in a food crisis.
It really is. This crisis is real for these families. And I hear story after story of families that are dealing with illnesses and sickness and job loss. And this was something they never signed up for, never saw coming.
That's my motivation, and that's what I keep coming and doing all these.
Luis Soto is the director of food service for Metropolitan Ministries, staff pulling 12-hour shifts cooking Thanksgiving meals. That's on top of daily lunches for families housed at the nonprofit. 140 adults and 300 children live there. The nonprofit helping more people than ever before with everything from housing to rent and bill assistance and, of course, food drives.
Our percent increase was up to 1,500% increase month over month, over and over again every month, and it really hasn't stopped.
Nationally, the numbers are even more dire, with more than 11 million Americans still out of work. Feeding America estimates more than 50 million people, including 17 million children, will be food insecure. So when the COVID crisis ends, the food crisis will continue for years.
For some period of time, because economically it takes a community a while to recover. It takes a person a while to recover. we've advised our board and we would suggest to the community that we've got a rough couple of years ahead of us.
And look at this line from last week. You might think it's people waiting for food. It could be, but it's not. It is for COVID-19 testing at Raymond James Stadium, a sad reminder of the difficult road ahead.
Even if there's a vaccine tomorrow, which we hope for, even if there's an economic recovery tomorrow, which we hope for, it takes a long time for those we serve to make it all the way back. The same number of folks are going to be hungry on January 5th or March 18th or, June 23rd.
In Tampa, Michael Paluska, ABC Action News.